Once upon a time, there was a little boy whose family was very poor. He went up the mountain every day to cut firewood and then took it to the market to sell it for some daily necessities. This day, he crossed a wooden bridge and came to the thick forest by the pool. Chopping a large bundle of firewood. He was sweating profusely. "Well, I'll take a break," the boy thought. The boy sat on the stump, picked up the steamed bread and ate it. The steamed bread was too dry. He came to the pool and bent down to drink a handful of water. Unexpectedly, the axe stuck in his waist fell into the pool with a plop. Oops! You can't cut firewood without an axe, and you can't exchange money for things. The more the boy thought about it, the more anxious he became, and he couldn't help crying loudly. His cries grew louder and louder. Suddenly, a bigger bubble appeared in the pool. A colorful splash spurted out of the water with a bright light, and an old god with a white beard appeared. The old god touched his beard and asked curiously, "Poor child, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying so sadly?" The little boy wiped his tears and said, "Grandpa, I accidentally dropped the axe into the water just now. Woohoo!" After listening, the old fairy patted the little boy on the shoulder with a smile and said, "Don't cry, good boy. I'll help you get the axe back." After saying that, the old fairy sank into the water and disappeared. Soon, the old fairy appeared again, holding a golden axe in his hand, and asked the little boy, "Is this the axe you dropped?" The boy looked and said, "It's not my axe." The old fairy smiled and nodded. "I'll help you find it again." Then he sank into the water and disappeared. Soon, the old fairy appeared again, holding a silver axe in his hand. He asked the little boy, "Is this the axe you dropped?" The boy looked at it, shook his head and said, "It's not my axe either." The old fairy smiled and said, "I'll help you find it again." After saying that, he sank into the water and disappeared. The third time, the old fairy took out a broken and old iron axe, and when the little boy saw it, he immediately said, "This is the one I dropped. Thank you." The old fairy took out the golden and silver axes and said with a smile, "You are welcome. I will give you both as a reward for your honesty." How wonderful was this? The little boy went home with firewood on his back. He took out the golden and silver axes and showed them to the other friends. He took them to the river and told the story exactly. Unexpectedly, a greedy woodcutter made a crooked idea when he heard this. After everyone left, he threw his old iron axe into the river and burst into tears. After a while, the old fairy appeared in the gurgling water. The old fairy asked, "Why are you crying so sadly?" The woodcutter pretended to be sad and said, "Oh, my axe fell into the river. What should I do?" The old fairy heard that it sank into the water and soon appeared with a golden axe. The greedy woodcutter smiled happily, and he quickly took the golden axe and said, "Yes, yes, this is my axe." Unexpectedly, the old fairy took out the rusty iron axe that the woodcutter had lost from his robe and said, "You lied. This is your axe. This is the axe I lost before." The woodcutter scratched his scalp and said hesitantly, "You are still lying. You are not an honest person." After the old fairy finished speaking, he took the golden axe and sank into the water. The golden axe was not taken, and neither was the iron axe. This time, the greedy woodcutter looked at the quiet water and really cried.